For more, we will cross to our South Africa correspondent, Nadine Theron. Nadine, at least 80% of South Africa's power generation is fueled by coal. What is the country already doing to ease the transition to renewables?
South Africa has started decommissioning some of its coal power stations. It started with a big coal power station called Komati in Mpumalanga, which it aims to take offline by next year, and it's being converted to a solar energy plant. That's the first of 15 coal energy plants that will be converted. And it's in line with South Africa's new goals that by 2030, the country aims to be only 60% reliant on coal energy and 25% reliant on wind and solar energy. In fact, there is a big boom in solar energy in this country. It's one of the biggest champions of solar energy on the continent, if not in the world. And new legislation will now allow private producers to sell up to 100 megawatts of solar energy without even obtaining a permit. And that's seen an even further increase in solar plants being planned. 25 new renewable energy projects were just announced 2 weeks ago. So South Africa also lowered its targets for national determined contributions when it presented its plan to the United Nations in September this year. And these new targets are much more ambitious than previous targets. So South Africa is now very serious about moving away from coal power. But of course, it needed the funding to be able to do that.
And Nadine, it sounds like it got just that, because as we've seen, the UK, the US, and the European Union have indeed agreed to give them $8.5 billion in funding. How might that change things in the years to come?
Well, this is truly a historic deal, and South Africa would basically not be able to move away from coal without this funding. South Africa's power supply, Eskom, said that it needed $10 billion to move away from coal, and this will certainly help to decommission many of Eskom's power plants and build new infrastructure. President Cyril Ramaphosa said that we will look at electric cars as well as green hydrogen industries for the country. And the big part of this just transition that South Africa can now start to do with the funding is to make sure that the workers and communities who depend on the carbon industry will be supported, and that the economy won't collapse in terms of unemployment. As we know, South Africa is very, very high, world's highest figures in unemployment. And that is one of the concerns of our Minister of Resources and Mineral Resources and Energy, who has always been a bit reluctant about the move away from coal, because 100,000 workers work in South Africa's coal mines, and they all have families dependent on them. So a big part of this new just transition that we've got funding for will be used to make sure that the workers are protected and that South Africa can meet their new goals of 60% coal dependent by 2030.
All right, Nadine, sounds certainly like some more good news that many have been hoping for coming out of this COP26 summit. We'll have to, of course, follow and see that those commitments are respected. Thank you very much for that update out of Cape Town.